Hello and a warm welcome back to the TNC Podcast. You thought we'd left you, didn't you? Well, we're back and we're ready for another season of something.
Here's to promotion.
What's this?
Here's to promotion.
Yeah.
Nice to see you, old boy.
Are you doing here's to anything else?
Here's to Tesorio,
Right.
who of course have supplied us with this beautiful merch. One of our sponsors, by the way, if you didn't know.
Now, so Tesorio, one of our long-standing partners, and are brilliant. And Glenn, that runs the gaff there, is like
A legend.
you just. Whenever I speak to Glenn, and I feel like I've got a problem in my life, I feel $1 million after speaking to him.
And that is what they do.
But what I would say
Business consultants.
is you do look like you're about to sell me like a printer.
It's a destination. Sorry, it's not a destination. It's a process.
Which could certainly be applied to Norwich City's current situation.
Absolutely. Jack, what's on the agenda for this podcast?
Well, Chris, we have lots to go through because it's been a while since we've spoken to you glorious people. We are going to be speaking about our new signings. Borja Sainz.
Good pronunciation.
He's already injured. Ashley Barnes, Jack Stacey, Vicente Reyes and Shane Duffy. Pre-season is underway.
Yeah.
We had a thrilling draw against Barnet that we'll be going in depth into.
Quickly move on.
And a big win against Kings Lynn. We also saw a Shane Duffy own goal in that one.
Yeah.
Max Aarons is a European champion.
He is.
With the under-21s with England.
Yeah.
Daniel Farke will be managing a fellow championship team in Leeds United. What are our hopes and fears for the upcoming season? I am very fearful for plenty of things. We'll be getting onto that shortly. And of course, questions from our audience.
Two other points. I just want to let you know we're using our Tesorio merch, which you can get, by the way, by visiting their website if you fancy.
This is bloody brilliant.
Right, so you can get these Camelback bottles, which are absolutely dreamy, and we've loaded them with Lakens.
Oh, I feel so good.
Lachons, as I like to say when I'm getting lively. You could probably... Can you sneak these into the ground?
Oh, I wouldn't be... wouldn't be advising it. Wouldn't be advising
anyway,
it.
and the other thing, the last final shout out before we get into it, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone that has chucked in for our Instagram fundraiser for Big C. I think we're at 350 now.
Yeah.
If
No,
not-
390.
Are we?
Yeah.
Brilliant. And we've got a
390
target of £500 by the end of the month. So if you do have a fiver for people and families that are affected by cancer in our local area, please do head on to our Instagram and chuck us a fiver. We'd be so grateful.
And I think before we get into the serious stuff of discussing Barnet, we popped down to Big C a couple of weeks ago. I'm sure people have seen on our social media, but since we started in partnership with Big C, we've raised 30k.
Yeah.
And we were like, one, we want to see where the money's going, and two, we want to see when we raise more, what it will go to.
Yeah.
So there's a little video and stuff over on the Big C social media accounts, some pictures and everything. But trust us, they are doing brilliant stuff. So if you do donate £1, you know it's going to a good cause.
Yeah, it's good because obviously it was off the back of that 24-hour watch-alongs where most of that money came from, and so I was really passionate about making sure that the Norwich City fans knew where their money was going, and it really is globally renowned cancer research happening in the heart of Norfolk, so it's making a huge difference. So yeah, right, let's go. What are we doing?
Shall we start with... I think we should start with signings,
Okay.
because we haven't done one of these for a while, and we're finding our flow again.
Yeah.
The question, whenever you're getting towards the end of a season, is who shall we sign, what positions? And if you remember, I said to you, there's this really exciting up-and-coming Chilean goalkeeper called Vicente Reyes that I think we should try and get hold of.
Did
and
you?
we have.
Yeah, well, you're always on the money, Jack, aren't you? Well, we can talk about him for a start, so I'm quite excited by that. I've heard lots of good things.
He's a big, scary goalkeeper.
Yeah, one of the big Chilean publications that keeps in touch with me was saying, like, this guy's a real deal. He's a real top tier talent, and so I'm really excited.
That's a mouthful. Top tier talent.
Yeah, exactly.
With Tesorio.
Absolutely. So I'm excited for the future with Vicente in between the sticks, but it's very much a case of he's for the future. But nonetheless, great to see him get some minutes against Lynn.
So we've made 5 signings.
Yes.
Which of those are you most excited about? It's an easy one for me.
Well, it's an easy one for me too. For me, it's the Somerset Haaland. Big Bad Barnes. I am buzzing to see Ashley Barnes play up top for Norwich City next season. I think he's going to batter people about.
Yeah.
He's going to shithouse his way about the park, and do you know what? I'm well up for it. I'm just so up for it. And when we went to the Norwich City Fans Forum event, we were obviously in the crowd for that. It was a great event, by the way. If you were there, great. If you weren't, hopefully you can watch it back. I don't know about you, Jack. We were quite a few rows back, but he just stank of 20 goals. Absolutely reeked of 20 goals. And I look at him and I think, God, you get me going.
Do you?
Seriously.
Yeah.
We have lacked a player like him for years. Since Grant Holt. And look, I'm not saying it's the second coming of Grant Holt yet, but it could be.
The thing that excites me about Ashley Barnes...
Is he your most excitable?
Yeah, I think so. I think the most shrewd of the signings is probably Jack Stacey.
Yes.
I'm really excited about him. I mean, the experience he brings and the quality he brings, I think he kind of stands out to me as the type of signing we should be and we need to be making.
On a serious note, we've worked the free market well.
We have.
I am actually impressed with our signings that we've got for free. But I'm not getting excited about, apart from Big Bad Barnes, the Somerset Haaland, I'm choosing to not get excited about any of them because I've been pained and punished so much by the last two windows. So the proof will be in the pudding. But to be honest with you, Jack, I'm now like, right, we need to sign some players with some actual money.
Do you think we'll do that?
Well, I do. I think it's going to be a case of we're going to have to wait to sell players, aren't we, before that happens. And we need to.
Are you surprised with how quiet it's been surrounding the likes of Max Aarons and Andrew Omobabadele?
No, because I think they've been a part of a team that's had a very disappointing season, and so it's not exactly like they're sparkly in a shop window, is it? And I would actually argue that they've both lost market value because of our performances last season. So yeah, we'll see. But I think it's going to be last minute, which is concerning given the Stuart Webber links to Leeds, etc. But we shall see. What about bloody Borgia?
So Borgia science. So again, looks like would be lying if I said I knew much about him. What stood out to me was his goal scoring record, like 1 in 3 at every club he's been at off the wing. That's impressive.
Yeah, agreed.
Again, I think he comes in on a free. Turkish clubs are facing some financial issues, so they wanted to let go of him. Young, exciting, and now out until October. It was a training ground collision, and he's done ligaments in his ankle. So the worry is, might be back fit for October. I suspect there'll be a period of time of trying to integrate him back into the side. Yeah. I suspect we might see him once or twice before Christmas.
Yeah, I think I would agree. I don't know this for a fact, by the way, but I've got the inkling that they're probably saying October, but really it's probably going to be November, December, isn't it? But the only thing I would say is someone in the comment section has reminded of this in the questions, which, by the way, there's so many good questions which we're going to go through later on this podcast, so stay tuned for that. They said Emi Buendia was also injured until October. Yeah. Changed our season. Yeah. So maybe he could be.
Well, I was going to say, I think with Borgia, this is either going to go one of two ways. He is. I'm trying to think of an example, like almost. Who was the chap who looked quite decent at the start of last season, then just completely faded away and didn't do anything?
Nunes?
No, there's now gone. I can't even remember his name. Sinani. Like, this is either I'm saying this is either going one of two ways.
It's Sinani looks decent.
I say a couple of games at the start of last season. This is either going to go, we've signed Science and we let him go at the end of next season. We go, oh God, I forgot we even had him. Or he might be a bit like Buendia. I'm leaning towards the former.
Oh, how good would it be if they found another Buendia?
It'd be great.
Look, the record's there. It's just rotten luck, isn't it? I do feel for him because obviously this was a key, crucial part of his I guess bonding time with the team, and so it's tough, isn't it? Right? But hopefully he'll make a difference later on for sure.
I think
I'm not expecting anything from him this season. No. I'll put it out there early. I'm not expecting, because of that injury now. For me, it's like a bonus ball. admittedly, I broke my rules, and when that signing was announced,
excited.
I was looking good.
I think
but now I'm not expecting anything from him.
Yeah, of course. I think the risk is with any of these signings, like they're free signings.
Yes.
You can't expect too much from them.
Apart from, I would expect from Shane Duffy, because you've signed a player there with Premier League experience on larger wages, most likely than those other players, and so I would expect Shane Duffy to hit the ground running.
Okay, we've had a couple of.
Is that all of our signings?
Well, do you want to go through every one of them?
Shane Duffy, by the way, speaking of luck, OG on his
and
debut against Kings Lynn.
Quite a good finish. Sort of a loopy one. It was a good one. Ashley Barnes we're excited about. Jack Stacey is a shrewd one.
Yes.
Vicente Reyes.
Yes.
Shane Duffy. Borja. Hines. Signs. He's not a baked bean.
Is that getting you excited?
Which one?
All of them?
Not the type of signings that like really get me going, but the type of
apart from of course the Big Bad Barnes.
Yeah, absolutely. The type of signings, almost like in every shopping trolley, you need a bag of pasta, a loaf of white bread, essentials.
So you're saying
essentials that hold things together. And now we need a sprinkling of
we need some chilies,
some pesto.
Right.
Bit
of flavour.
Just to add something to it.
Yeah.
We've got a nice foundation. We've got some carbs. Now let's add a little bit of fibre.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's important to say we've got Tesco value carbs. Because they're all for free.
And they can be effective.
Yeah, but they're not Tesco finest. They're Tesco value. We have to say
that. And with some things, Tesco value is best.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we haven't spent any money yet. Next.
Pre-season against Barnet was honestly, I can say an hour and a half of my life that I regret spending doing that. So I watched the game and I was looking at this, and I think I texted you at the time, and I'm not one to really read into pre-season too much. It's more of a fitness kind of test, but equally you want to see glimpses. And I watched that and thought,
cool, we're in trouble.
I'm deeply concerned.
Oh, God.
I honestly watched that and thought there's more chance of us getting relegated than promoted next season. And I'm being honest here. I'm not doing this for effect. It doesn't feel good.
But it was our first game and we've not signed players and the players getting up to speed with fitness, etc. So let's pretend that Barnet didn't exist is my advice.
Okay.
But let's talk about the annual battering of Kings Lynn.
6-1 win.
Mate, fucking Barnsley with a hattie.
Yeah.
Do you know what really got me going? His first goal for the club was a chest. Talk to me about that.
Just on Barnes.
Yeah.
Do you think he starts above Sargent?
Yes. I would.
You do?
I would.
So Sargent for you gets dropped?
In my opinion, yeah.
He's been given the number 9 shirt.
Yep. I don't. Honestly, Ashley Barnes, get him up top, get him starting goals,
over Sargent,
get us scoring goals. I think they'll play together.
2 up front. I really hope they don't shift Sargent back out wide again.
Oh, could you imagine?
Although, what's the alternative out wide? Quemeswa Poeta.
Well, let's talk about PP, shall we? Because he's been getting
a lot of minutes.
He's been getting a lot of minutes, and also some plaudits as well off the back of that game against Kings Lynn. Oh, sorry, it's confusing myself. Sorry. Right.
Remember when we got excited about Tony Andreu against Galston? Remember that?
Tony Andreu. What a baller, by the way.
Good game against Galston.
Tony Andreu was one of the Mate, get him in the history books. Get him in the Hall of Fame. Tony Andreu.
He scored a hat-trick against Galston, didn't he?
Oh, he absolutely tore them to
and we were going, hello.
Yeah.
Hello,
and
Tony.
And then realised it was Galston. Right, what I would say is, and I've seen a few people put this on social media, I'm happy that we're seeing glimpses from PP.
Have you not already seen enough?
No.
You want more?
Of course I want bloody more. We've barely seen anything, right?
Well, this is what I mean.
I'm happy we're seeing now a little bit of something from PP. And I also agree with the comments that we're seeing on social media. I do think people are being quite lazy by saying he's just shit and he's not going to do anything for us. I think that's incredibly harsh because we haven't given him a lot of minutes, and maybe there's a reason for that. No, come on, take it seriously. Maybe there's a reason for his lack of minutes, but look, who knows? Maybe this is the season that he breaks through, but I need to see more, and of course people will agree with this, we need to see more than a positive game against Kings Lynn. Do you agree?
I do agree. What I would say, and this isn't just based on Przemysław Waheta, is from the end of last season, or from the entirety of last season, we weren't good. This is that stage in the summer when there's hope and there's optimism, and then,
oh god!
And
I
then
can't believe we've got to do this all over again. I actually really can't believe we've got to do this all over again.
Remember, it's a destination. It's not a destination.
it's a process.
And this summer is very much a process.
Yes, we are.
What I would
At
say,
the beginning of the process.
what I would say, I'm being serious now.
Good.
Serious face.
Good, please.
Last season was very poor.
Yeah.
We will be losing most likely Max Aarons,
Yes.
Andrew Mbamadeli, Pookie's gone.
Yeah.
We've brought in Vicente Reyes and a couple of others.
Yeah.
This squad, at the moment, will be worse on paper than last season.
Absolutely.
So what will be different?
Well, yeah, I don't have a defence of it, which is why we need to sign some players, which is why we need to sell players. Going back politely to I think you wanted to bring the conversation onto the wingers, and I want to bring up a winger that I'm excited about.
Onel, go on, say Onel.
Because he is being given a go.
Oh, for God's sake.
Johnny Rowe. Let's have a go, Johnny Rowe. He's being given a go, and I tell you what, I watched his post-match interview.
Against who?
And he's just vibes. He is just bringing the vibes, and it excites me. A real wild card winger.
Do you think
someone that could have a breakthrough season next season? I'm excited about Johnny Rowe, and I know you're anti him.
I'm not anti Johnny Rowe. I just don't think he's ready for the championship.
You've been so harsh about Johnny Rowe. I'm really excited about Johnny Rowe next season. Mark my words.
What happens if we give Johnny Rowe a go?
Yeah. Well,
I was about to say give Johnny Go a row.
How many Lakers have you had?
Let's say we give Johnny Rowe a go, and he's not the one.
Yeah.
Then what do we do?
Johnny Rowe go and he's a no go. Well, I don't know, Jack. I'm not David Wagner, am I? Look, we've got an L. I'm content with an L.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll do a job.
Yeah.
We've got Johnny Rowe. Let's have a go.
Yeah.
And we've got PP.
Yeah. I'll be honest here.
We need to sign a winger.
I'll be honest here.
We need to sign a winger. Now that Borgia's out, we need to sign a winger.
You've said those three names with confidence and conviction.
I said one with confidence.
And all I'm getting is bad vibes.
Okay, fine. Trust me, though, you're going to be proved wrong about Johnny Rowe this season.
I hope so. Anyway, we're not being negative.
We're not.
The signings so far have been good. We've just battered Kings Lynn.
The signings so far have been decent, but they've been free.
Okay. Max Aarons won the European Championships.
Yeah, good on him. Buzzing for Max.
I didn't realise this until you said they didn't concede a single goal.
Didn't concede a single goal.
That's remarkable.
It is. I'm very, very happy for Max.
But probably not going to be a Norwich player next season.
No, it's very unlikely. Very unlikely, of course. But I just thought, we should talk about that. We should still praise him. He's been a great servant for the football club. He'll obviously fetch a decent enough fee.
Do you think?
Yeah, I do. No, but obviously it's not going to be what it was, but it's decent enough. And actually, with all the love and respect in the world to Max, I hope it's soon if he is going to go, because we need to sign some players. looking at that game at Barnet, we need to sign some players. So yeah, I just wanted to say congratulations to Max for winning the under-21.
And I think that was
European
that would have been his last game for the under-21s as well. So
There you go.
what a way to go out.
Well done,
Farke.
Yeah.
Who would have thought we'd be sat here? I think we have found with this podcast, you do it, if you do it for long enough, we've been doing it for long enough.
Yes.
You start to just go in circles again. Like we'll be talking about Russ in a few weeks when we're about to take on Southampton. When Farke left Norwich City, or sacked by Norwich City, I did expect to be talking about him again. Did I expect to be talking about him in the sense of him now being the Leeds United manager? Probably not. And I thought I was over Daniel Farke, and I think I was. I am. But seeing him go to Leeds did sting a little bit. I saw it and I thought, I looked at it and thought, they're going to be having probably quite a fun time.
Well, you think, but don't forget in our first season under Daniel Farke, it was monumentally average.
It was.
At best.
Mm.
Do you remember
I tell you what,
do you remember the 4-0 loss away at Millwall?
These are bloody brilliant.
Marcel Franke masterclass.
Marcel Franke, yeah, I do.
James Maddison practically kept us in the league.
I do remember Marcel Franke.
These
cups are bloody brilliant. Thank you, Glenn.
Daniel Farke's gone to
marvellous.
Leeds, and I think fans are feeling a little bit stingy from it because it's Leeds, right?
And we're not doing very well.
I think what will sting more is seeing Webber go to Leeds with Daniel Farke.
Do you think that will happen?
Because then you've got like the full band back together, haven't you? Because they're now
Ed Wootton's gone there.
Yes, that will be announced when this goes live. So yeah, like he's got the band back together. Stuart Webber is. I'm confident that Stuart Webber will end up at Leeds. I'll be surprised if he doesn't at this stage.
Have we spoken about Stuart Webber going on this podcast?
I don't know. Have we?
Probably.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Where he's going. There you go. The thing that I would say is I think people are forgetting that he did so well for us in the Championship, but he has the worst record for us in the Premier League out of any Norwich City manager. And I know that he wasn't given any resource, but I think people are forgetting how badly embarrassed we were in the Premier League with Daniel Farke, and I don't think it's solely down to the lack of funds that was given. Daniel Farke was involved in the recruitment of a lot of those players that we're still lumbered with, and so I just think it's more evenly balanced. I think people want to see him as this hero that did no wrong, but he did wrong. Trust me, he did wrong, and so I respect him greatly for what he did at our football club, but I hope that we batter Leeds home and away this season, and I certainly won't be applauding him before the game or during the game, and truthfully probably afterwards, because he's the Leeds manager. He's not the Norwich manager anymore. I'm sorry, that's just my honest feelings. So whatever, if you want to think about him as this hero that did no wrong, fine, but he did wrong.
I think the let's go on to Webber, because I'm not sure if we have discussed it on this podcast. Maybe we have. That's another really intriguing element of this summer, I think, because he probably still will be here at the end of the transfer window. But you've got a man overseeing the transfer policy that won't be here in the future.
It's a worry.
And the thing that kind of, maybe not concerned me, but just intrigued me was the fact that Webber handed his notice in March, I think, which was around when David Wagner came into the club. And Wagner came into the club mainly because of Webber.
Yeah.
So there's no kind of long-term joining over there.
And we've been told that he didn't tell him that as well, by the way.
Yeah, and the other thing was they only started kind of recruiting for Stuart like 3 weeks ago. So what's been happening between March and now to just go, well, we know he's leaving, but we'll worry about that another day?
I don't know. I think there have been... I'll assume positive intent here. I think they have been looking longer than that. I do. Surely they would have done, Jack.
But Zoe said they'd only started kind of recruiting.
Well, yeah, but they must have been thinking about who and how and when and why before that. I guess the official public...
Are you concerned about the future without Stuart Webber?
I don't think I'd say concern. Like, I would say Stuart's done a lot of good for the football club. Certainly the infrastructure, which everyone knows about now. Trust me, they know about it now. He's done a lot of good for the football club. I think the natural cycle of an organisation needs fresh pairs of eyes every now and then. And I just think it's like, he's done great work. He's taken it as far as he can. He's been abused by the fans. It's probably time to move on. I think that's healthy. I don't see there being a problem with that. And I wouldn't say I'm concerned for the future without Stuart. I'd say I'm excited for the future with whoever they opt for, because it's going to bring new ideas, fresh impetus, new energy, maybe almost a sense of, maybe more of a sense of togetherness, because there's history with Stuart because of what's happened. So yeah, and I don't think, ultimately we've still got Zoe in the room, and so I think I think if Zoe was to leave as well, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm a bit concerned. But yeah, I think we'll be fine. We were fine before Stuart, and we will be fine after Stuart, because no one person is bigger than this football club. This football club was successful before Stuart Webber, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise, right? Winning at Wembley, staying in the Premier League, something that hasn't happened since he's been here at this football club, and so we can do it. We just need the right person at the right time that puts in the right people and the right impetus, and I think it could happen. It's looking dark at the moment, but you know the way the Norwich City cycle works, Jack. It's a roller coaster. What are we on to now? Questions? Oh, hopes and fears.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah. Well, there we go. Stuart Webber. It will be a fascinating summer. I can't wait to see how it all goes. Hopes and fears for the season. We are sat here on the 10th of July.
Yeah.
The season ahead of us. The sun is shining. We've just won a pre-season game. Optimism is probably the highest it will be for a little while. Until we win our opening game, we'll be dreaming of promotion. But at this very moment, give me your hope for the season.
I'm looking pretty dry on my season hopes. My season fears, I've got quite a few.
Do you want to start with fears?
But my season hopes are the free signings will instantly hit the ground running.
Okay.
After Borgia, obviously.
Okay.
They'll all settle in instantly. They'll all make an impact. They'll mould perfectly with this squad.
Are we asking about much here?
And my other hope is that it's a breakthrough season for Johnny Rolas have a go and PP. Those are my hopes.
Okay.
And maybe we'll slip into the playoffs. Maybe. That's my hopes, of course. Certainly not my expectation. My expectation is mid-table mediocrity, to be very clear. I don't think we'll get into the playoffs, but my hope is, of course, that we will do that. My fear is dwindling around the old rally zone. Because I don't know about you, Jack. I've looked at the table and I'm thinking, oof.
Some good teams.
It's the strongest championship there's ever been. I think it's the strongest championship there's ever been.
Which is the complete opposite to last season, where it was probably the weakest.
Correct. Totally agreed. Which we have to, yes, and that's painful, but I can't talk about it anymore because it will make me so angry.
Equally, we're saying it's one of the strongest leagues. I suspect there's Southampton fans and Leicester fans who are quietly a little bit nervous because they've lost a few of their better players, new managers are coming in. They shouldn't be, but opposition fans of us last season were going that we'll just hack up, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't think it's ever when you're looking outside, you're going best case scenario, and when you're the fan of a club, you're going like worst case scenario.
Yeah, I get that.
But I think you're right. I think the teams coming down and also the teams coming up are all quite well versed.
Apart from one, obviously. Yeah, I think it's gonna be really tough. And so, and I guess maybe another couple of hopes is I'm hoping for very good seasons for both Gabriel Sara and also Marcelino Nunes. They've had their season to settle in.
I think Nunes could have a good one.
They've learned the language. Sarah's got on better, as far as I understand. Sarah is almost fluent in English now, which is really
That's really
good.
impressive, yeah.
Marcelino Nunes is getting there. They've had their season of settling in. They understand the English game. They understand Wagner's ways. I think this could be the breakthrough season for those boys. The season where they really crack on and put their name in the shop window. So those are my hopes. But I have to admit, my optimism battery is extremely low. It needs charging. And the only way it gets charged, Jack, is by us signing a CDM, probably a winger, maybe a defender, maybe a striker.
And then winning our first 5 games.
And I need to put this out there as well. I know I've said this, I seemingly say this every season, but definitely this season, I'm not having this nonsense of, oh, it was a positive performance and we drew the game. No, fuck off.
You're not having it anymore.
I'm not having it. Those first 5 games, let's win them. Let's bloody win them. The fixtures in those opening games have been very kind to us.
Yeah.
I mean, let us know honestly, let us know how many points you would expect us to get.
Shall I read out the first 5 fixtures?
And also, by the way, let's not beat around the bush. David Wagner needs a strong start.
First 5 games.
Yeah.
Hull at home.
Don't get me wrong, Hull have started to get themselves in the room, but Hull at home, you've got to be beating them.
Southampton away.
Very tough.
Tricky.
I would love a draw. I'd bite your hand off for a draw.
Then we've got QPR in the Cup.
Win.
It's the Cup.
Win.
I don't care if we lose that one. Millwall at home.
Win.
Huddersfield away. Rotherham away. Stoke at home. Leicester at home.
No.
And then it's Plymouth and Birmingham at Birmingham.
I just think, apart from Southampton, I forgot to say that, apart from Southampton, those opening fixtures are very kind to us, and we need a strong start. And I hope that we will get one. I really do.
What do you want me to start with?
Sorry.
Hope or fear?
Jack, what are your season hopes and your season fears?
I'll start with the fear, and it comes off the back of that fixture list. My fear is that by the 30th of September...
That's my birthday.
Is it? Wagner will no longer be the Norwich City manager.
Because what?
Because we've got off to a poor start, Webber's off, and there's a mutual agreement that this isn't working. My hope is that we have kind of...
So where does that leave us, Jack? If that happens, where does that leave us?
Well, I think it's
basically
whoever comes in for Stuart. No, I wouldn't go that far. Whoever comes in for Stuart will take a new approach. I feel like we are very much at the end of our current kind of approach. My hope, much like yours really, is that the biggest successes, particularly under Paul Lambert, were hungry players that wanted to prove something.
Yeah.
And the big nugget I got from that forum evening was Ashley Barnes saying, I still believe I can play Premier League football.
Yes.
That is a man with a big old chip on his big old shoulders. And I'm thinking he wants to prove people wrong.
Yeah.
He wants to go, actually, Burnley, you made a big, bad decision letting me go.
Yeah.
So I think we need a few more of those players. I think we've got it in Jack Stacey. I think Shane Duffy's got it. And then a few of those sprinklings like Science and stuff. So I'm hoping this is the summer where we do nail the recruitment. And if we have nailed the recruitment and we bring in a few more players and we don't let too much talent go, we might get something like, 16th.
Let us know your season hopes and fears on social media.
Honestly,
at TalkNorwichCity.
I think I went one extreme last season of I was convinced we were going to win the league at the start. This season, I'm deeply concerned.
Yeah, I have to admit I'm concerned. Are you feeling positive or are you concerned? Let us know. Is it time for Twitter
Yeah,
questions?
let's do it because I think we're going to have some fun with these.
Okay. Are you starting or am I starting?
I can start.
Go on then.
This is a good one from Clive.
Okay.
And we kind of touched on it. Clive says, after Barnes scored a hat-trick in the game against Kings Lynn, what other signings in a pre-season game have you seen score and then got excited by, then bigged them up to everyone? For me, So for Clive, it was Ricky van Wolfswinkel after scoring against Real Sociedad in 2013. I remember that goal, and I remember that summer. The big thing I remember, it was when Michael Bailey was still working for the EDP, and it felt like a big thing at the time. They flew him out to Portugal to watch him for Sporting. Yeah. Was he at Sporting Lisbon?
Yeah, Wolfswinkel watch.
And they did like an 8-page supplement.
Yeah.
And I was like, this feels incredibly big.
Yeah.
And then he scored against Everton, and I'm going, bloody hell, we've got the next like Luis Figo. And he wasn't. I still like Van Wolfswinkel though. He seemed a dear old boy, didn't he? You haven't answered the question.
Yeah, I agree.
Tony Andreu against Galston.
Matt Gibson says, question, what is your favourite sandwich filling and why?
All depends on the weather and the
Does it really?
yeah, and
Does it
the
really?
So I'll tell you my most loved and hated sandwich filling.
Yeah.
Egg mayo.
Shocker.
I love egg mayo, but Chris.
Say that.
And I think this is a bit of recency bias. I was on the Norwich to London Liverpool Street train last week at 8:03 a.m. The first off-peak train because I'm a cheapskate.
Yeah, standard.
There was a lady opposite me eating
Did it honk?
egg mayo sandwiches, but not like a supermarket one. A full packed lunch. There was enough sandwich in there to feed an entire cricket team.
And there was too much egg.
And she was just ripping chunks of it. There's bits of egg flying everywhere.
Really?
And it honked. And I thought, you know what, at this very moment, I hate egg mayo.
Right, okay.
But on a good day, that's one of my favourites. Egg mayo. Yeah.
I'm so disappointed in you.
Versatile.
Egg mayo.
Yeah, good for protein, for my biceps.
You know my favourite, and then I'll quickly move on.
In a sandwich? Salmon and cream cheese.
Right, let's move on because you give me too much banter for this. Total Norwich says, question, how much do you want to bet that PP gets pots? Boy looks like he could be our best winner, or he's finally found his level, haha.
Total Norwich, I don't have much in the savings account, but I would like to bet it all that he doesn't get player of the season. And I'll tell you why. If you're quick, you will look good against Kings Lynn Town. And he is quick. Put him up against players that can defend. He's not going to. So I'd love to have a wager.
Mr. Dack says, who is going to be the breakthrough player of the season?
I think you mentioned his name earlier, and I was disappointed with him last season. I think he's on for a good one. Nunes.
I'm happy that you said
that. Nunes. I think you're right. There were glimpses last season, but I saw him in and out of games too much. I think this is the season. If coached correctly, in the correct setup, we could see him shine.
Depends what you mean by breakthrough.
I guess.
Because he's been here already.
Yeah.
You're
probably thinking Rowe.
Yeah, for me, I think it's Johnny Rowe. Let's have a go.
You're really excited about him, aren't you?
He's just got a bit of that spice about him.
Fair enough.
I don't know. You never know.
Fair enough.
Go. Your turn.
Let's take a look at this one. Jack Sell. What away games are you boys planning on this season? I think the one that excites me is Plymouth. Because it's a new one.
Yeah.
It's a new one. And other than Plymouth...
Isn't that on a Tuesday night? Have I made that up?
Oh, is it?
Is it?
Oh,
maybe
God, I hope it might be. It would be classic EFL if it is.
Fair play.
It's about 9 hours away.
Play.
Plymouth excites me. Yeah. It's new, isn't it? It's fresh. We've done all the rest. I don't want to go to Hillsborough again.
Tell you the one I'm not looking forward to. Portaloo Road.
When is it? December, isn't it? It's going to be freezing cold. There'll be train strikes.
Yeah, it'll be grey. It's just an absolute shit. It's the shit pit of the country. And I just hate going there. I can't.
We might not be with the new memberships.
I'm already looking forward to going home.
Have you seen the memberships? We probably won't even get a ticket.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll probably be watching it on the television.
I think this statement from Matt Bradshaw is bang on.
Oh.
Matt Bradshaw, let's quickly read his... Oh, no, he's not got a bio, but he looks like a top guy. Would you agree?
Oh, God, yeah.
He says, statement, when will we learn that a CDM is the most important position on the pitch? Skip was a bigger loss than Buendia in 21-22.
Yeah.
Tetty and Tribal, key to 18-19. Look at Chelsea without Kante. # mind the danger.
Yeah, no, I think it's spot on. We haven't filled that role.
I think we're all in agreement now, and I reckon the viewers and listeners around the world would agree. We need to sign a CDM.
We do. And I saw you tweeting the other week that Tommy Tribal's available.
He is, and he wants it.
Would you take him back?
I would. I'd have him as a squad player. People laugh, but I would. He absolutely loves the club. He will literally bleed for this football club. He will cost us absolutely nothing before... Oh, hang on a minute. We've only got 5 days until we would have to pay for him. So they better hurry up. So yeah, I would. I'm not afraid to say that. I think for free, why not?
No, I think the CD...
It depends if we need a body, right? It depends. Like for me, one of his plus points is a top tackler. You can't take that away from him. And I don't really see that steal in there at the moment.
No, I think you're right. I think we were too... Like, Sarah's not the man. And Nunez isn't the man.
I got a lot of stick for saying that, for sharing that information. I got a lot of stick. Because I think people thought that I was suggesting that we should play Tom Tribal every single week. But I'm not saying that. I'm just saying on a free signing, he wants it. He loves the club. I don't know. I just thought it was okay, to be honest with you.
This is a good one from Joseph. He says statement/rant. We've got a rant.
Oh, wow.
The season ain't even started.
Good.
I love the anger from you, Joe. He says, statement rant. People need to get off Zolis's back. The guy's 21 years old, clearly has potential, but he's so unbelievably young and came on a big fee. Not his fault. With a lot of expectations, let's all get behind him and hopefully he comes through. He clearly wants to do well for Norwich.
Do you know, I
kind of agree with it.
Yeah, but from what I've been told, it could go either way with regards to him going out on loan or not. And you know, if we're putting him out on loan again, I don't know. Like, you need to think about his age. He's still young, and if you look at his international stats, they're actually really good.
But
he might be playing
Belarus
sort of, like, I don't know, dodgy country you've never heard of, but his stats are good internationally, and he's young. But the boy is shot for confidence, and it's clear, it's abundantly clear in his game time. But in this current Norwich City side, like, I just can't see where he would. I don't know.
I think that
you wouldn't play him over Sargent. You wouldn't play him over Barnes.
He's a winger, isn't he?
But, I know. But
you'd certainly play him over Boheta, and you'd play him. I think you'd play him over Rowe. But the concern here is, Chris, and I think this is sadly only going one way. A loan deal for me doesn't make sense. I think a loan deal is just going. We're thinking of moving you on in slowly, like a Rashica type thing.
Right, okay.
And I'm not sure if he's an out-and-out winger.
Well, that's my point. That's what I started with those strikers.
I haven't seen enough. I don't know what his big attribute is.
It's pace.
Sure. Is it? I don't think he's that quick.
In my opinion.
But okay, so he's not got that Hernandez pace, and not got that Boheta pace.
The frustration for me is, I do see potential. I do. It's not like there are players in that squad where I think there's no hope. Honestly, there's a couple in there where I think there's no hope.
Is it one of those that because we've paid significant money for him,
you're desperate for it?
You just want it to work somehow.
I do agree with that.
If we'd bought him for $2 million, I think the equation is really simple. You just let him go.
Maybe.
But he feels like a man that needs nurturing and needs coaching, and I'm not sure he's had that.
He's not had that.
I really want it to work for Jolis because I think there is a player in there.
Me too.
I'm just at the moment unsure where he fits.
Yeah. Matthew Wallace.
Hello, Matt. There's a professional golfer called Matthew Wallace.
He says, Texas Canary here. On the ball, y'all. My question, does Jonathan Tompkinson make the first-team squad this coming season?
Never do that again. Ever. Tompkinson. Well, I think it was...
Fancy a bit of Johnny T?
I think he was being dropped by Stevenage last season, wasn't he?
Was he?
Yeah, I don't think he got in the team there.
Was that not just because he had a bit of a knock or something?
Maybe.
Well, that's bad.
Jonathan
Tompkinson is one for the future, but not next season, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I like the look of him.
I think I think the one position where you need numbers is centre back. Guttingly, I don't think we're going to see Hanley run in an Norwich shirt again. So you've got Gibson, and you've got at the moment Shane Duffy, and that's all you've really got. Now, experience they do have, pace they certainly do not, and I think Tompkinson could be a really. Hopefully, a really good squad player, and hopefully breaks into the first team.
Maybe we'll rely on him. Who knows?
I think there's clearly talent there with Tompkinson.
Connor Warnes is arguably put the strongest statement of the pre-season in here. He says, Johnny Rowe, let's have a go, will be in the championship team of the season. How much will you give to Big C if Johnny Rowe gets in the team of the season?
£1,000. Yeah, of course. If Johnny Rowe is in the championship team of the season,
£1,000.
I'll give Big C £1,000.
Right, come on, I'm shaking on it.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Johnny. God, could you imagine?
You know what? And
Connor, thanks for that.
And I'd love Johnny Rowe to be in the team this season.
You might have just made Big C a lot of money, thank you. Follow Robot 2 says promotions on my mind. I suggest you get off it.
There is a lot of people here, Chris, and I've kind of read through them all to find a theme.
Yeah.
A lot of excitement around Pochetta.
I have to admit.
Like, have we really got to that stage?
Yes.
Honestly.
Yes, we have.
How have we got to this stage?
Because what else is there?
We know what Pochetta is like in the Championship. We are basing this excitement off a game against Barnet and Kings Lynn Town. We can't be doing this to ourselves, guys. Like, come on. Come on, because I tell you what happens. I tell you what happens if we do this, right? We get excited,
yes,
and then we see him in the opening 6 games, and we're 17th, having not won a game yet, and we're going, fuck, why did we not sign another winger? It's because all of us were going, oh my God, Pochetta got an assist against the second-string Kings Lynn Town team. This is a dangerous precedent to be setting.
Well, look, it's about time that you have some standards. I would say that, but I do think a lot of people are being very harsh on PP. There is a player in there somewhere. Let's see where we get with him.
Ali says we've lost Pookie, Dowell, and Campwell, and we're likely to lose Aarons and Omabamidele as well.
Yes.
Is our squad stronger or weaker than last season?
Weaker, absolutely. Of course it is, which is why I'm so desperate to sign some players with some actual money.
This is my concern.
Yeah.
We're going into a season with we're trying to be hopeful, but nothing has changed.
Yes, and relatively rudderless because Webber's off.
Yeah.
And the Atanasios aren't here yet. And we drew away at Barnet.
That Barnet game. Oh my goodness.
Look, it's early days. It's been an interesting TNC podcast.
Yeah.
I certainly look forward to the next one where we can get carried away about a new signing who's inevitably going to get injured within the first 2 games.
And it's strange, this, Chris, because when we switched this camera on, I thought this was going to be really positive.
Yeah.
And actually, slowly but surely, realism has creeped in. And I'm just a bit scared. I'll tell you one thing I'm really excited about.
Oh, go on.
Josh Sargent.
Are you?
Josh Sargent is now probably my favourite player at Norwich. And he was, probably 2 years ago, my least favourite player. I really like Josh Sargent, and I think he's going to have a brilliant season.
Good.
Yeah.
No, I am surprised.
I like what he's about.
But I'm impressed by that.
I like what he's about.
Look, he's got the number 9 jersey. I hope he knows how important that is.
Number 9 jersey, that was very American.
Well, thank you. Getting to the spirit of things, warming up for the Atanasios. Look, Josh Sargent before the World Cup scored goals when he was played in his right position. But for me, I need to see him back, and I need to see him scoring again before I get carried away with Josh Sargent. I hope it works. And a caveat to all of this conversation today, and I'm sure you'll agree with this, Jack. I hope we're awfully wrong on our season fears.
Still early days.
On our season hopes, on the players we don't think are good enough. I hope we're wrong, because wouldn't it be great if we didn't expect anything this season, but we somehow managed to get in the playoffs? We shithoused our way into the playoffs. I hope we're wrong. Nothing's personal, as always. But for me, I need to see more changes than what we've had. We've had a handful of free signings. They're decent free signings, apart from Barnes. That's a very good free signing. But we need to sign some players, and we need to sell some players. We need some fresh blood in it.
I think the fascinating thing going into this campaign is, for the last 5-6 seasons, probably the last time it's been like this was Farke's first campaign. Yeah. We're going into a season without expectation.
Yeah.
Now that could be exciting because anything can happen here.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's change and there's uncertainty. Lots of change will occur this summer, and I think none of us will know how that pans out. It's either going to go really well or horribly wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a middle ground here.
Yeah, I agree with that. But don't forget, it's not a destination, it's a process.
I think you should keep this on and just keep reminding yourself.
It's not a destination, it's a process.
It's not.
Maybe I should wear this after every... Sorry, Glenn, in advance from Tesoria. Maybe I should wear this after every loss this season.
Just
so
to...
I remind people...
Find a state of zen.
It's a process. It's a process. I do think this is going to be a transition season. Genuinely.
Where are we going to transition to?
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued to see how this season goes.
Good word to summarise.
Intrigued. Thanks to all of our sponsors.
As always.
Laken's are still doing 20% off.
Yeah.
TNC beer codes, and they're actually running low on this. So if you do want some, make sure you get it soon because they're running low.
Don't forget Tesorio merch. You can head over to their website.
Cool guys.
And buy some Tesorio
really cool guys.
Merch. TIZZ Oreo. Go and check those guys out. Thank you for giving to the Big C, and please give more to the Big C. And thank you as always for supporting the TNC podcast.
We will be back. Not next week, the week after.
Yep.
Do you think we'll have made any more signings by then? Hopefully, because we need something to talk about.
Yeah, I fucking hope so.
Chris, good to see you.
Cheers, old boy.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.